I'm definitely guilty of negative self-talk, and I think all of us are at some point. And it's learning and understanding how to reframe those thoughts in our head. I guess even before that is recognizing your negative self-talk. I feel like for me, it was I didn't even recognize that I was talking that negatively to myself. And so once I started to bring my awareness to this and actually start to recognize how much I talk down to myself, then I was able to start to reframe some of those phrases in my head.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? And welcome to another episode of Off the Mat. My name is Josh Dumlin, and this is
Nicole Stratichuk.
And today we're going to be talking about developing confidence. You know, this is an obvious big request or topic that gets brought up when a lot of parents sign their kids up for martial arts. You know, it's either focus, it's either discipline, or it's confidence. Usually there's some other stuff, you know, fitness and a few other things, but these are like the big ones here, and confidence is sort of at the top of it, right? Like it is more
I would
often
say
than not.
confidence is the number one reason that parents bring their kids to martial arts, right? And I think, you know, even if we look at the other things that parents want from us, like the focus or discipline and things like that, but confidence is really at the root of it all.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And that's just it. Like, you know, we all want for our child, we all want them to be more confident, to be able to look you in the eyes, to be able to stand in front of their class and give a presentation, or, you know, to be able to just stand with their shoulders up and stand tall and be proud of who they are. And, you know, we try to figure that out as parents, and, you know, like some kids are just naturally confident, right? And some need work on that. Now, we'll get into all of that, but that's kind of what we want, right? We want for our kids, we want them to be confident.
Yeah,
and
because
confidence can mean different stuff for you.
Right, and confidence is going to help them continue to learn and grow and achieve and try things and learn from all of those experiences if they have the confidence to try those things or experience life, right?
That's right. Yeah, we don't want, you know, like that's the last thing we want for our kids, is to be like, you know, not willing to get in and play with the other kids on the playground, you know, to kind of stand off to the side because they're not confident enough to go and approach people and introduce themselves, you know, greet people, so that way they can make friends and have good experiences. So, why don't we talk about a little bit about confidence here, like what we're kind of going on, and then we'll go into, we have 6 ways that we can develop confidence. Yeah.
Confidence is the, you know, belief in yourself. And that's why we practice this in our martial arts school so much, saying, yes, I can, right? Because we are repeating that over and over and over again to build our own confidence in our head and getting our mind thinking about it the right way. So that's what confidence is having that belief in yourself. So where does this confidence come from? Like, I think when you look at somebody, you automatically make assumptions about whether or not that person is confident. So if we looked at someone, what are the things that we see when we say, yeah, that is a confident person?
Eyes up.
Yeah.
Can introduce themselves. You know, they stand tall, right? And then when we see people who keep their eyes down, they're slugged down a little bit, kind of shoulders curled in, like that's sort of the obvious things that we look for right away.
Right. And like they can speak clearly. Mm-hmm. And, you know, when we have children in martial arts, right, when we first meet them, some of them exude this confidence already, and they can look us in the eye and they can speak clearly and they can stand tall, and others not so much, right? And you can make those assumptions just on the way that someone carries themselves, the way they speak, the way they present themselves. We can automatically see whether someone is confident or not confident.
Mm-hmm. And that's just it. So like those come from experiences in our life, right? So like everything from, you know, the environment we grow up in, the whether it's been supportive and encouraging, it could be, incidences at school, but it could be any sort of environment that has sort of built that confidence, right? Like sort of like that exudes that is what sort of supportive and positive environment are they in? Like those are some of the things.
Yeah. So we have people that there's all these different factors, and the big thing is the experience. So depending on your social environment, your upbringing, all of those just kind of mean your experiences. But there's also this piece about genetics as well. And genetics can play a role in how confident you are, because whatever's in our brain there, some can have this gene more developed than others. And so someone, even if you have let's say even two twins that, have the same social upbringing and the same general experiences, you might have one that is more confident than the other just because of this piece of genetics. However, that being genetics may be playing a role, the biggest piece is going to be experiences and understanding that confidence is a skill set that can be developed. And so that's what we're talking today is how can we develop this skill of being confident?
That's right. Yeah, because believe it or not, and a lot of people would see me on the floor and they would think just automatically I have always been a confident person. But that couldn't be farther from the truth. I had to develop that skill over years of hard work and discipline. Like I had to develop that. It did not come naturally at all. In any way, shape, or form was I ever the most confident person in the room ever. So it was something that I had to develop too. So I know exactly what it feels like to not have that confidence, and then to develop it and not just have it. Like I said, it's not something that you just you necessarily have, or it's a fixed trait. This is something that can be built. This is something that you can develop.
Absolutely. And confidence, like any other skill, it all starts with the courage to try. So courage to try to build confidence, or courage to try any other skill set that you're trying to develop. It all starts with that courage and the willingness to try, which ultimately just goes back to your why, is why would you want to do this, right? So having that courage, digging into the courage and having the willingness to try to build your confidence.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And we don't want to mistake confidence for like some people can appear confident, and they're not.
Yeah,
they're really not.
You might find extroverted people are more confident, right? Because they have that personality, right? And they appear confident, and maybe they have like a whole deal of swagger behind them, if you know what I mean. They might really appear confident, but that's not always the case. Quite often the confident people are quieter. Quite often the confident people are, they're okay to just be the silent one in the room and have confidence in themselves. They don't necessarily have to put on this big show or have the swagger that you might see in other people. Not saying that, having that personality means that you're not confident. It just means that that's not exactly a prerequisite to being confident.
Yeah, usually it's a false confidence when you see it like over the top, right?
Yeah.
When you see people like who are just over the top, showboating and all of this stuff. Especially we see it all the time in the martial art world, like all the time. And it's just like few people know for real that person doesn't necessarily have the confidence that you actually think they have, right? But anyway, it's not a fixed trait. It is something that you can develop. So how do we develop it?
Yeah, we were brainstorming about a bunch of different ways, and certainly we came up with a solid list of 6 things that we think you can really put into practice to start developing confidence today.
Yeah. And remember that developing confidence, right? Developing, like you can develop this, and it is It is something that you can do, and it is something that you can do for your child. It is something that you can do for yourself as an athlete, as a parent, as a child, as a student, as whatever. But you can develop this confidence, right? And it does take work. It does take work. But let's get into this here. So 6 ways we can develop and grow our confidence. Number 1, set goals and celebrate achievements. Set goals, realistic goals that you can achieve, and celebrate those achievements. That's one thing I really like about martial arts. We have belts, right? We have things that you are constantly achieving and working towards. And can you fail a test? Yes, absolutely. Now, when we earn a new belt, it's okay to celebrate that achievement. We have tournaments, we have medals, we have placings. Now, I like this right now because tournaments right now in our circuit, there is 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, which I still like because not everybody places, and that's okay. This is actually, again, something that develops confidence too. I feel like, it's okay to set goals and celebrate those achievements, but celebrate achievements that were earned.
Right. When you go to, some events that everybody gets a medal or everybody gets the same thing, that almost is building that sense of false confidence
Absolutely.
That we were talking about.
Yeah, false confidence. It diminishes first place. It diminishes the seconds and the thirds and everything else. So by being able to set a goal and celebrate an achievement that you earned, that's a good thing. So you need to set those goals. That's the biggest thing, is set a goal. So when you're in martial arts, set the goal for that next belt that you're going to earn.
That's right. And so by setting the goal, that means that you have to take action on that goal in order to achieve it, right? And then being able to achieve it and then being able to celebrate it, that gives you all that hype energy and it feels really good, right? Mm-hmm. And it's really important to take that time to, celebrate that, because that's good dopamine in your brain, right? Makes you feel good. So you gotta soak that in for a second once you achieve that, so that it kind of pushes you to okay, I really liked that feeling and I want to do it again. Mm-hmm. Right? So then you can set the next goal. And it's this vicious circle that's never, ever, ever, ever going to end. But that's how we are going to build this confidence.
Mm-hmm. Right. No, that's definitely. We've set those goals and work for them. And don't be afraid to set goals. Set those goals. I feel like when we ask sometimes some of our students, it'll be what do you want to get out of this tournament? Do you want to, they're almost afraid to say I want to get a gold medal. They're afraid to say it. We talked to how many school owners, they're afraid to say, well, I want 100 students. They're afraid to say it because they feel if they don't get gold or they don't get all the students that they want, that they've
and we are going to touch on that later, because that's one of our steps, but that's where it happens. That's where the confidence happens. So we're going to get back to that, but that is make those goals, verbalize them, write them down, share them with the people that are important to you so that people can be on board with you. And of course, that's going to touch on another thing that we're going to talk about, but get those goals, and make them big if you want, right? Mm-hmm. There's, all that, if you think about SMART goals, right? You need to have achievable and realistic expectations and all of that. But there's no harm in setting a way out there goal, because that's only just going to get you to reach it.
Right. All right. Number 1, set goals and celebrate achievements. Number 2, replace negative self-talk. I cannot believe the number of people that talk negatively about themselves. I can't believe how many times I catch myself talking negative about myself. I just had this the other day, Monday, this just happened. We had a student, she's brand new. She came in, she wasn't even late. We were in the middle of lining up. She comes in and she goes, Am I late? And I said, No, you're not late at all. You're right on time. We're just bowing in. And she goes, oh, man, I'm worried I'm in the wrong class, because I'm so stupid. And it's crazy. This little girl, she's brand new. This is maybe her third class. She has zero control over whether or not she even gets to the right class. She has zero control of whether or not she gets there on time because she's not driving. And her first instinct was to say, I'm probably in the wrong class because I'm so stupid.
Aww.
Like I almost wanted to cry in that moment for her because I was like, oh my goodness, like how can, so I had to, of course, be like, no, you're not late at all. And don't say that about yourself. Like, don't say that you're stupid. You're not stupid. Like, I had to work with her as a coach and as a leader and sort of try to get her to replace that negative self-talk that she has about herself. And she's like 9 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you continue that sort of behavior at like that age all through, man, so help you, right? So being able to replace that and as a parent, that is something that we have to be so conscious of doing. For me to sit there and say that about myself in front of my son, what am I going to show him that it's okay to say about himself? So if I were to sit there and say, boy, oh boy, I can't believe, Dad forgot that. God, what an idiot.
Yeah.
Now I'm teaching my son how to do that. So as parents, we have to be very, very careful how not only we talk to our child, but importantly, how we talk about ourselves. What sort of negative self-talk are we having? Because if we are having that negative self-talk in front of our kids, what example are we showing? What are we teaching them? Mm-hmm. So we got to be really careful. We got to replace negative self-talk about yourself. Listen, it's okay to be hard on yourself and like be able to okay, what do I need to fix? What do I need to change? What do I need to, what project do I need to start earlier? What time do I need to, be able to correct things, but be really, really careful on like the actual self-talk, the stupids, the all of those negative words.
I'm definitely guilty of negative self-talk, and I think all of us are at some point. And it's learning and understanding how to reframe those thoughts in our head. I guess even before that is recognizing your negative self-talk. I feel like for me, it was I didn't even recognize that I was talking that negatively to myself. And so once I started to bring my awareness to this and actually start to recognize how much I talk down to myself, then I was able to start to reframe some of those phrases in my head. Like sometimes you do something and it's wrong, or you make a mistake or whatever, and all you can think is like, man, I am stupid, or I am just not good enough, or I suck, right? That's one that I say sometimes in my head is like, man, Nicole, you suck. And so the first step for me was recognizing that I was doing that. And then once I got in the habit of recognizing it, I would get in the habit of rephrasing those things. And so there's a reason that I'm talking like that to myself, right? So it's just recognizing that and then reframing it to maybe like, instead of I suck, is that, oh, I have some learning to do in this area, right? I have some things that I need to learn and grow and develop in this area, rather than just going to I suck. Yeah, there's room for improvement. Mm-hmm. And these are the things that I have control over, right? Is learning and growing and making those things better. I have the control to course correct and readjust as needed. But it is definitely recognizing and then learning how to reframe those negative thoughts in your head.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So replace negative self-talk. Change up how you speak to yourself, even internally. Doesn't just have to be out loud, but even just the way you got to be really conscious of that. If you catch your child, talking negatively about themselves, reassure them.
And even when sometimes we have to discipline our kids, right? They make a mistake and then we have to course correct them. It's in that moment too, like showing them that it's not because they're stupid, it's not because they're inadequate, it's not that it's just like, no, this is an opportunity for you to grow. This is an opportunity. We're going to learn how to do this better, rather than just jumping to that negative self thoughts, right?
Awesome. All right, so number 3, do difficult things.
Do the hard things.
Jeez, do difficult things. Do difficult things and force yourself to get out of that comfort zone. Like, do the difficult work. Start in martial arts. Do a competition. Do a test. Like, do a belt exam. Like, I mean, do the hard work. Get in there. Start doing some push-ups. Start doing some pull-ups. Start doing some squats. Like,
right, that's the thing.
Do a burpee.
Maybe from the step before that, we set the goal, we want to do 10 push-ups. Well, have the courage to try one.
Right.
Have the courage to try one. Maybe that's your difficult thing. Once you've done one, hey, then you can celebrate that success because you did one. And now we set the goal to do 2. And, after time, we are going to be able to put ourselves in those difficult situations because we've gotten the practice of doing it and training our brain and training our body so that we can do those difficult things.
That's right. Do difficult things. Do hard things.
Do it.
You would be surprised at the amount of difficult things that you can really, really do when you actually force yourself to do them.
And you are always underestimating how strong you are. Physically, mentally, whatever, any of those things. You are underestimating how strong and capable you actually are. And this, if we look into the science of the brain and stuff, this is actually a defense mechanism, and that's all good. But you are definitely stronger than you think. And so just to give you an example, yesterday in my mom's club class, shout out to my mom's club because they're awesome. We were holding the plank, right? And our goal right now at that level, at that belt level, is to hold the plank for 1 minute. And we were holding the plank. I didn't really let them in on how much time had gone by, and I just kept pushing them to keep holding. And after 1 minute hit, they didn't know that 1 minute hit. And then, some started to drop, and that's okay. I had one awesome mom beside me that was going hard, and she was just a shaking and she wanted to give up, and I kept pushing her. I said, no, you are stronger than you think. Keep going, and never let her in on the time. All of a sudden, it was 2 minutes. She had never held a plank for 2 minutes, but she did it yesterday. And so that is just my proof to you that you are stronger than you think, and put yourself in that difficult situation and make it happen.
Right. And how do you think she continued the day?
She was just excited and awesome, and she was proud, right? And we celebrated, right? We all had gave her a high five, and we were all excited for her.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. So do those hard things, and again, when you achieve them, celebrate them. Pat yourself on the back. Number 4, understand the long game. Understand that this is something that is going to take time. And all too often, these phones here and the way we can get things to our door now, and how quickly we get stuff, how quickly we can get to places, we forget that personal development takes time.
Yeah,
Skills take time. Stop being so impatient and understand the long game. Understand it. Understand that this is going to take time to develop. So when we as parents are watching this, we all too often almost want to give up the process, the journey.
Yeah, and that's what I was just going to say is be excited about the journey. Yeah, okay, we want to build confidence. That's not going to happen in one martial arts class.
No.
That's not going to happen in one personal development session. That's not going to happen after listening to this one podcast episode. It is going to take time. And the cool thing is that time that's going by, you can choose to dig into that, right? You can choose to enjoy that journey and the process to building that skill of confidence. So enjoy the journey. We hear that all the time about everything, right? And we're in this world, like you were saying, about instant gratification, right? We order something on Amazon, it's in the mailbox the next day. Confidence does not show up on your doorstep the next day. It is something that you have to practice like any other skill every single day and build towards it all the time.
That's perfect. I really like that. Doesn't show up on your doorstep the next day. Bingo. Right there. And that's so true. It takes time. Understand the long game and be patient. Be patient with your child. You, as the person developing your confidence, be patient. It's one step at a time.
And I think as we're being patient, right, I think we are going to talk about this, but we are going to experience some setbacks, but then it's coming back to this list, coming back to the journey and reassessing and figuring out what the next step is. So it is a long game. It's not a short game.
Right. Number 5, understand you will fail. You are going to fail. And this is all too often, I don't think enough people talk about. And you're going to fail. Whether it is you're not going to hold that plank that particular day for that whole 2 minutes. So you are maybe going to fail a belt exam. You're going to fail a test in class. You're not going to get the job you wanted. Like, understand that you are going to fail at some of these things as you are developing your confidence. And even the people who are confident, who are successful, who are, high level athletes, they fail.
Those are the people that have failed the most. That's what I'm like. The people that appear the most confident, the most successful, they have failed the most because they've taken the most risk. They have had the courage to try. And if you have the courage to try, even though it might not go your way, right? There is going to be this time where you succeed, and there's going to be a whole lot of other times when you fail.
That's what I really like about the environment we've fostered here and built here is it's positive, it's encouraging. You are going to be pushed out of your comfort zone. You are going to be tested. You are going to be challenged. You are going to be put in difficult situations, but you're also going to be encouraged. It's going to be positive. You're going to have an experience that you are going to be around people who are going to understand and know how to encourage you to keep going. But that's the important thing is put yourself around people who are positive, that have an environment that is going to actually help you grow. Like get away from the negative people. Like, my God, like we sit here and we're especially you have, how many people have we cut completely right out of our lives?
Too many to count.
Right.
And just because that just brings you down. Like, don't accept that in your, and I guess this kind of goes into like, set the boundaries, because there are, I want the positivity, and that's the only way that I can learn and grow and build any skill set, including confidence. So, and that's a positive environment that you create with your circle, right? They are all going to help you do this list of things that we just talked about, right? So only be very, very particular and selective of who you spend your time with and who's in your inner circle.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, yes. Like, cut it out. Cut out those negative influences. Cut out those people that just drag you down, pull you down. I mean, you've got to take a stand on that. You've got to be willing to. So when it's, with your child, and you're putting them in a sport or activity or a martial arts school, make sure the environment is something that is going to be positive for them. Cut that out too if you need to. Mm-hmm. But really, just make sure, be really, really careful, be really selective of who comes into your circle, your child's circle, all of those things. And just make sure that you're surrounded with positive people. Because again, failure is going to happen. And if you got crabs in the bucket and they're pulling you down, that failure is going to be even worse. Mm-hmm. The long game that we talked about is going to feel a hell of a lot longer. Mm-hmm. Okay? So put yourself around positive people. Release that negative self-talk. Don't be the negative person yourself. Surround yourself around positive people, positive coaches, positive influences, people who are going to make a difference and impact on your life in a positive way.
Agree. Perfect. 100%.
There you go. 6 ways that you can develop confidence, set goals, celebrate achievements, replace negative self-talk, do difficult things, do the challenging stuff, hard over easy. do the difficult work. Understand it's a long game. This will take time. Have patience and let it develop. Let it grow. Understand that you are going to fail along the way, but you are going to learn. Be okay with the failure. Accept it. Learn from it and move on. Surround yourself with positive people and an environment where you can learn. There you have it. 6 ways where you can develop confidence so that way you can grow into the person you want to be. We thank you guys so much. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, leave us a review too. If you found value out of this episode, please share it with somebody who you might think needs to hear this message. We appreciate all of you listening. We appreciate you watching. Thank you all so much. Until we talk again, my name is Josh Dumlin, and this is
Nicole Stratichuk. Thank you guys so much for listening.
Thank you guys so much. You've been listening to Off the Mat.